It's live now. Let's hope somebody comes on and tells us if it's good or not. But it's live. So let's see what the audio sounds like. For me, it sounds good.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same.
Yeah, me too.
So,
yeah, me too.
Okay, people. Tell us if there's any improvement.
Does it work this time?
It's just strange. Maybe because last time there was only 2 people on the stream, so the audio is just going 2 ways. But now with 3 people, there's 3 different audio inputs, so maybe that creates a difference. I don't know.
And back. Salo is echoing.
Yeah.
Salo is echoing.
Oh my god.
No. Really?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! You gotta be. No, you guys are trolling us.
Salo and Sami still echo.
Oh god, damn it.
How is this happening? Because I can't. All the settings are as low as they're going to be.
Same.
The audio is all good, but at least Mikael's sound is echoing. How about we put Salo on mute, and then we just unmute him whenever we want him to say something?
Please burp.
Of course I sound perfect. I always sound perfect.
Exactly. So apparently now I'm also echoing.
The only one with no echo is me.
Pedro, are you sure you don't have any speaker volume?
No, I mean, how do I have speaker volume if I have the headphones on? There's no speaker.
Doesn't make sense.
And plus, I'm not the one echoing.
No, but because me and Sami only heard from your speakers. So it would make sense that you have the speakers. Can you check without the? Can you check with if you have sound? Because that would make sense.
Take the headphones off.
Testing.
Hey.
I can hear you guys without the headphones.
Can you hear us?
Oh. So it's coming from speakers. Or no? Because if it's me and Sami having the problem, then it would mean sound is coming from me and Sami. So it's your speakers.
I know, but I had the headphones on, so there's no chance of that happening. And now I took them off. I don't hear any echo whatsoever.
Okay.
Who has speakers on?
Yeah, well, if it's me and Sami's voice, that will mean somewhere with picking up because you get me and Sami's sound. Because if it would be me, then you should be echoing as well as Sami.
Okay, but I don't have any speakers here. Like, what's there's no. I mean, it's the laptop, sure, but that's the same laptop I used last week. No, I can hear without the headphones because right now I unplugged the headphones, so the sound is only coming out from the speaker of the laptop. So the problem was Pedro. I don't know. Is it still echoing now?
Well, now I have the speaker, so it would make sense that there's an echo.
I don't hear an echo. This is so strange.
2 mics.
2 mics and 2 turntables and a microphone. I honestly don't understand what the issue is. Is there still an echo now? Because now it's just me and Salo.
Yeah, is there echo now? No echo.
So the echo is basically when there's 3 people on.
And is it still echoing?
God damn.
I honestly don't know what else to say or do at this point, because we've tried like every single thing possible and imaginary.
Testing. Am I still echoing people? 1, 2, 3.
Apparently, the issue is when there's 3 people on. So when it was just me and Salo, it was not echoing. If it's all 3 of us, then there is an echo. I honestly, I'm puzzled by this whole situation.
I'm trying to Google this.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what the problem is. I could understand if my YouTube that it's streaming, if it had the speaker, if the speaker was on.
I'm gonna switch to the phone, and it still was the problem.
Exactly.
So the issue is Salo, because Salo, can you do me a favor? Can you disconnect for like 2 minutes and then reconnect back again?
Yes, Steve, you might be right. It might be just Skype issue.
Yeah, it might be a Skype issue, because the way it looks to be is that they're saying, Salo, when it was just me and Sami together, there was no echo, and when you come in, you adding the echo. See, Laureline said the echo is permanent with Mikael. So like you're providing echo, because when Sami also, even when Sami left, there was still echo. But when you leave, then there's no echo.
Okay.
I think he left because he's frozen in time. He's blind and frozen.
Yeah.
So it's not me with the headphones here, because like I said, I normally don't use headphones, and it doesn't really. I don't think
I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah, me too.
Since the beginning. Yeah.
It's probably a Skype thing that it's having a hard time feeding in the 3 sounds together, and then the one that's the worst sound, which is Salo, is creating an issue.
Well, should we talk something while we wait?
Yeah, let's talk about something. Let's talk about let's talk about Metal de Facto. See, now it's fine. So maybe we should just keep Salo out of this conversation and then bring him in for another different live stream.
Yeah, he can watch and he can comment.
Exactly. He can use it from the. You know what? Maybe that's what we need to do. I'm sorry, Salo, but we're doing the executive decision. We're kicking you out of this live stream. Otherwise, this is never going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Maybe he gets it.
Here, I'm going to put in my headphones, because it may be better with the headphones anyways. So hold on a second. Let me just put these on. Yeah, it's definitely a Salo issue. It's definitely a Salo issue. I want to remove. Okay, image. Let me just bring the image back. All right, give me just a second, Sami.
Small echo.
I don't think it's echoing now. Yeah, I think Salo should just join the chat, and that's the best way to approach this situation. So, because I for the life of me, I can't figure out what's wrong with his audio. So it is what it is. All right.
Testing.
I honestly, I don't know.
Fine. Okay.
All right. So let's. Oh, it's perfect now. See, without Salo is perfect.
Yeah.
See, there you go. All right, let's just do this, the 2 of us. I'm sorry, Salo, but you've been voted out of the island. This is Survivor.
The tribe has spoken.
Salo can join the chat. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Metal de Facto. So I heard that there's a new video in the pipeline. What's
Yes.
what's the plans?
Well, actually, now Mikael would have been much better to answer this one.
Well, so the one question I asked you is the one we needed him for.
Absolutely. Well, he can also write there. Anyway, we haven't been able to tour much with the album, and all the festivals we had lined up are now cancelled. So it's really cool that we can actually still exploit the album. It's kind of new, and it has got so good feedback. So we thought put out another kind of single/video. Yeah, Mikael, if you're still there, could you write the exact date, because I don't remember.
I don't think he's there.
Something happened. Because now in the...
No, it's just my image disappeared for a second, but it's back on. No worries.
Okay.
So yeah, with now with everything that's happening with the coronavirus, you guys having a hard time, playing live shows. I mean, not just. I know I'm back. Don't worry. Pedro's gone, but Pedro's back. It's just a little bit of a delay. Sorry about that. So you guys weren't able to play any shows because obviously of the issues with coronavirus. So what are you guys thinking of doing in the meantime? I mean, for you guys to do a live stream or something like that, it's kind of difficult because of how many band members you guys have. To do something, it creates perhaps a little bit of an awkward situation. So what plans do you guys have in mind in order to stay connected with the fans during a period of time where you're not able to play any live shows?
Well, we have now the one video coming up, and there's also one release scheduled that we already recorded some time ago, but that's going to be out later this year. But what we can do, and what we plan to do, is start working with the second album already. Yes, we have a lot of time. We already had a bunch of ideas when Imperium Romanum was made, and now we have even more. So I guess at some point we're already sending a lot of ideas to each other, and at some point I guess we go to rehearsal room and start checking out the ideas and making songs. And
yeah, it's a crazy time for you guys as musicians. You're really limited on what you can do, in terms of shows, interacting with the fans, like all of that stuff. It impacts all musicians across the board, not just you guys. But considering you guys released your debut record, and it's important to get the music out there, this adds another layer of difficulty on top of it.
Absolutely.
And now I believe all the festivals pretty much have been canceled, right?
Yeah, seems like that. So it's gonna.
So Salo joins us.
Yeah, he's
Salo is joining us in the chat. Sorry, Salo, but apparently your audio is shit. So you've been voted out of the island.
Yeah, we still love you.
Yeah, we still love you, but we voted you out of the island. Sorry. There's this guy. I feel so bad for this guy. Nothing ever goes this way.
Exactly.
So what things are you working on now? Because I know besides Metal de Facto, you're working on a solo project. You had a campaign to raise some money for that solo project. How's things going? Give us a little bit of a background in terms of what people can expect from the solo project, and how is the campaign going?
Well, there's quite a lot of info on the campaign page. I'll try to keep it short. I've always come up with a lot of song ideas that never fit the band, like Emtombed or Metal de Facto and any other bands that I played before. But I always kept those ideas, and there was really no time before to do it. And now there was time, and a bunch of unfinished songs, so I thought, okay, what the hell? And nowadays, one can do like crowdfunding to still get like professional result, because I could record it, but there's no way I can mix it or I can make a cover for or anything. So I'm very happy that the goal was reached, but of course I still have my secret hopes up that it could go a bit more higher, and maybe I could also make like a really good video. But anyway, I'm just happy that the I can get it out, and I already we're mixing it with Salo, and there are 2 raw clips on the campaign page, and I think they're also on YouTube. So check it out. It's gonna be quite different than Ensiferum and Metal de Facto.
Yeah, that's something you made that promise from the beginning. There was going to be, and it was not going to be an instrumental bass album.
No, no. There is a bass solo on the album. There had to be one. I was also playing with an idea, like, because it's kind of industrial metal, that there wouldn't be real bass at all, just like synth bass, because that would have been the funny angle, like the bass player does a solo album, but there's no bass.
But you're doing vocals, right?
Yeah.
So what can we expect from the vocals?
Nothing like Mikael does.
Well, it's a hard thing to do, to compete with his voice. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm not even going that way.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a smart move. I think Salo to me is a very underrated vocalist, and I'm saying this because he's not here. Otherwise, his ego would blow would blow Skype. The bandwidth on the connection is not big enough for his ego.
That's really good. Now he never knows about this conversation. Yeah, he's a really good singer.
I'll deny it.
But how about there?
Deny it.
Tell me something. Is everything going well there?
Yeah, I mean, the world is a crazy the world is a crazy world right now. So we've been stuck at home for like six weeks now. I think 6-7 weeks.
God damn it! Yeah.
So it's been a long time that we've been stuck at home. I go out maybe once a week, twice a week at the most. My work is still, I can still go to work, but there's nobody there. So going to work just to make sure the building is intact, that nobody's broken in, that the place. I could still hear it with my headphones. Oh, but still was there. All right, but there's no echo now, right? So as long as there's no echo now, we're not bringing Salo back. Just make sure there's no echo now. So yeah, I go to work maybe once, twice a week, and we're getting our groceries delivered, so I don't even have to go to the grocery store.
Okay.
Which is a good thing, because I to be honest with you, I feel a little bit uncomfortable being in a place that's with too many people touching things and stuff like that. So I wear a mask, I wear gloves, and my wife is in a high risk group, so I want to make sure she's okay, and I want to make sure that I don't bring anything home for her. You know what I mean? So I try to be as careful as possible. What about you? Is life somewhat normal, you would say, or are you taking special precautions when you're going out?
Well, I have my hand sanitizer with me, but in Finland it's not that. We keep our social distance anyway. It's like in the culture. But if you go out there, not as many people out there, which is good, and all the bars and restaurants are closed. Well, they can sell out food, like takeaway food.
Yeah, it's the same thing here. I mean, here you can go to a restaurant and pick up the food and bring it home, but you can't go to a restaurant and sit there and eat. So there's those restrictions. There's all sorts of different restrictions. Yeah. But what I'm finding crazy about this time now is that there's all sorts of crazy people out there with crazy ideas. Like, the virus was caused by 5G network, and it's, flat Earth, and Bill Gates created the virus. You know what I mean? Like, I know Microsoft gets a lot of viruses, but that doesn't mean Bill Gates created the virus. So, like, I what I'm finding with this whole thing is that, it's brought all the crazy out of people that you thought were like, this is happening with me. People that I thought that were very intelligent and that that understood the way life is, are jumping on these crazy theories, these crazy ideas. I don't know if you heard the latest one, which is about a comet. So they're saying that there's going to be a solar impact, like a meteorite impact to Earth. So the government knows about it. So in order to keep people inside so that they're not hit by the radiation, I mean, like,
I didn't hear this one.
Yeah, it's every day there's a new different theory that comes out. sometimes reality is a lot crazier than fiction, and that's what people are having a hard time dealing with. That this is reality. This is not fiction.
Yes, it's difficult to understand why people are not logical here.
Yeah. No, I think people in general, they want to rationalize something that they're having a hard time. Yeah, that they're having a hard time rationalizing, right? So then I think what they do is they gravitate towards these conspiracy theories because it makes them feel comfortable, because it gives them a sense of this is something that it's something that somebody's creating, or something is out there, whatever, and that gives them a sense of hope that the switch can be turned off or turned on.
Yeah.
Because if the virus is just a natural occurrence, like, somebody was hungry, they had bat soup, and this shit happened, so that to them it scares them, because there's no turn off switch. You don't know when this is going to end. We don't know what the future holds, and that uncertainty scares people off. So if they believe in a conspiracy theory, if they believe the government is behind it, or Bill Gates is behind it, whatever, they believe that if we put enough pressure, they'll turn the switch back off and everything goes back to normal. So I think it's really a psychological coping mechanism more than anything else.
So. Yeah, it really sounds like that. Yeah, but this was like a really good source of inspiration for the lyrics of the EP.
There's a lot of inspiration. First of all, you guys have a lot of time to working on new material.
Yeah.
So for your EP, you have time now that you can put the EP together. And then as far as material, I mean, I don't know if this is going to fall in the wheelhouse of Metal de Facto or in Sephirum, but for your solo project, you could definitely go down these more weird, translucid, conspiracy theory, virus kind of platforms. Because if the sound is more industrial, it really opens the door in terms of what kind of lyrics you can have on the record.
Yeah, everything is already recorded. But yeah, they were very much inspired, all the lyrics.
How many tracks are you going to have on it?
There's going to be 7 tracks. One is the intro, and there's going to be 5 songs. And because I love acoustic stuff, and then I made acoustic version of one song, and it turned out to be funny. I have like industrial metal song, and then you have a version with banjo and everything on it, and upright bass. And
yeah, that's an interesting take on. You create an industrial track, and then you create an acoustic version of an industrial track.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to get this out for people.
Wow, that's really interesting. What time frame are you looking at as far as the having the EP available to the folks?
Well, I promise on the campaign that it will be sent in June. As people know, it's already the mixing has started. So the good thing is now we have the whole May time to mix it and to get the cover ready and so on. So we can actually mix the song, have 1-2 days off, and then go back to it and really listen to it again with the fresh ears. So in the best case scenario, people will have it in May, but the latest, it's going to be in June.
Wow. Something to look forward during this quarantine, because I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon.
I don't think so either. It's
as a musician, is this making you think about perhaps that the music industry is going to have to change somewhat to adapt? Because let me put it this way: the longer this goes, the more difficult it is for you guys, because you're going to go longer without being able to play live shows and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So do you think that this is perhaps a good time to assess this situation and try to come up with some creative ideas on how a musician can survive in the future if we go a long period of time without the possibility of doing live shows?
Absolutely, and I guess like the streaming shows are a good example of that. Like a year ago, even though it would have been technically possible, not many bands did it, but now it seems like every band is trying to do that. So I'm sure bands will try to exploit technology as much as possible, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of releases in the future, because bands are not touring all the time. So the bands that actually stay together, I'm sure they're going to be releasing much more new material.
Do you think this is going to create some bands disappearing because without the ability of touring and playing live shows and earning an income, Do you think this is going to create the fact that some of those bands that are on the cusp, bands that are not super popular, but they're not small either, that really depend on the tour in order to be able to sustain themselves? Do you think a lot of those bands perhaps will have a difficult time and eventually will kind of disappear, or you don't see that happening?
I don't think they're gonna disappear, but they're gonna be very inactive. Because if let's say if your income is really, you're dependent of touring, and if you can't tour, then you have to find other ways to do it. And if you find another job, it's time away from writing songs and so on. But I don't think that many bands will actually break up because of this, because it's just make things difficult. But we shall see. We don't have a crystal ball.
No, we
we'll
don't.
Be much wiser. Like
I saw somebody the other day posting the idea of doing concerts, live concerts, but as a drive-through. Not a drive-through. Sorry, a drive-in.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Also. Yeah, I saw the headline.
I don't know how that would work. Like, you would drive your car to the venue, park the car,
like a football field, but you have like.
Yeah, like you will open up your window so you could hear the music. And I mean, I'm not sure how it would be for the band, because you guys would come on stage and all you would see is a bunch of cars.
Yeah. Or if you combine that with like some, how do you call it? Destruction derby or something, and you have a mosh pit with these cars.
Imagine that, like, let's do a wall of death. Okay, like, these cars over here, these cars over there, now it's time to go, and then everybody would just pile up in the middle.
Maybe that's the future.
Yeah, I saw that idea, and while I think it's creative, I think it kind of loses a little bit of the whole point of live music, which is not only the interaction between the audience and the band, but the interaction even between the audience itself.
Yes,
I mean,
because it's a gathering to go for a show.
Yeah, it's really, when you go to a show, like when I go see you guys live, it's as much as important the connection that we have with you, because you're playing that music live to us, but it's also the connection that we have with each other, who are experiencing that same moment together. And if you take that away, it's not the same thing.
No, I don't think so either. Because if you really think like live music, you're very roots, with your own tribe on a campfire. It's something that you do together. Everybody's just sitting in their own car or just watching a stream from home. Okay, it's very nice. You can do it in your underwear and have all your favorite snacks. But for me, it can never be the same as being on the real show and really experiencing the energy and the vibe from the band and the audience. But who knows if, again, really hypothetical, if this would go on for decades.
Oh God, now you're getting me depressed.
Really ruin like the whole system. Then kids would grow up with this kind of musical experience.
I think before we go down the drive-in, I think there's more of a chance of virtual reality, where you would have the helmet at home, you put the helmet on, and it feels like we're there at the show and we're watching you guys perform live. I can see that more being a way of the future. But the other aspect that people don't realize is when you guys go on a tour, you're playing in front of different crowds every night in different cities. If you do a live stream, it's only one show. Right?
Yeah.
Because everybody from every single place around the world can watch that one show together.
Exactly. You cannot have it like, okay, tonight we play people in Berlin, and then it's going to be Toronto.
Well, unless you do shows based on time zone. So if you say like this live stream is only available for, this time zone or what, I honestly don't know how you even do that. I just want this thing to be over and we get back to life as close to normal as possible.
For me, it's really hard to relate to this as a musician who loves to play live, and that's like the salt of the whole thing, to play live and interact with people. Because of course we've been planning with NCFerm and Metal de Facto doing like a stream gigs, but I've been going through this in my head, like how will it be? It's gonna be like making a music video, and I hate making music videos.
You do?
Yeah, I don't like it at all. So I have no idea how it's gonna be to do a live gig by streaming. So there's just a cameraman in front of you, but you still are performing to thousands of people. It just feels weird. I'm an old geezer.
Yeah, it is definitely a strange dynamic because you would be playing as if the people were there, but the only people there is the guy holding the camera in front of you.
Yeah, and that then it really becomes like a theater, and it's I don't know. Like I said,
It's definitely not as natural.
No. I heard like some bands they did like this streaming this thing, and it was like more like rehearsal room, more like a jam, and people could chat there, and that kind of makes more sense. But let's see how things evolve. It's a new thing.
That idea I like. The jam session idea I like that.
Yeah.
So for example, like a Metal de Facto or an Insiferum acoustic jam session, where you just like almost like a rehearsal, and people get to watch the rehearsal. I think that's more natural than performing for nobody there and just the camera. And not pretending, but try to have the same energy that you would if they were there. Like you said, it's a little bit of acting at that point because there's nobody there.
Exactly, because most of the energy comes from the audience, seeing them going crazy. And if that's missing, it's going to be very weird. We shall see.
I think everybody's kind of learning as we go along, because this is new grounds for everybody. Nobody's really sure exactly what the future holds. I mean, I hope you're wrong. I hope this is not going to take decades or a long time. But I really hope that.
No. I have my hopes up with vaccines here.
I honestly think the vaccine is going to take long. I hope they come up with some sort of medication that at least if you get it, you can take the medication and it doesn't get to the point of you needing to go to the hospital and needing intubation. I was listening to a doctor yesterday, and he was saying that strep throat. I don't know if you know what strep throat is, but it's like an infection in your throat. Yeah. I don't know. 50 years ago, 60 years ago, it was deadly. People would die from that stuff. Now we have medication for it. So there's no vaccine. You can still get it, but at least if you get it and you have medication, within 1 week or so, the fever is gone and you're fine. So I'm hoping at least if there is some medication that takes off the edge of the illness, we can at least start to get back somewhat to normal. But until the time when there's something, it's going to be very complicated.
Yeah,
and you're a hugger, so this is a problem too.
It is. And one thing I've been thinking as a musician, it's going to be interesting to see like the airline companies, like are they still going to be there if they're going to bankrupt, like some of them, or going to raise the price of the flights, and already living in the periphery of the world in Finland, just going for a show or a tour always costs shitloads of money for us. So let's see how that affects the whole business. Not just for us, but everyone.
You talk about like the crews that set up the crews that you guys use when you're touring, like your crew, and festivals have their crews. Now, as far as festivals are concerned, do you know if festivals have insurance? So like this year, for example, when you see festivals like Wacken and Tuska having to cancel and pushing it to the next year, are they covered with insurance? Do you know, or is this problematic for some of these festivals?
I have no facts, so I better not say anything.
Yeah. I was wondering about that because it's really puts a huge strain on these organizations who organize these festivals and book the bands and all of that stuff. It's really, really depressing to think about it. Now, moving on from coronavirus. So since you're in quarantine and there's not much you can do, what are you doing to keep yourself busy and sane? Are you watching Netflix? Are you watching TV shows?
Well, that was the EP project was really good because, well, it's still going on. So I still have like 10 days. So that's been really occupying my mind. And really cool thing was that on January, I think it was January, pretty much, started The Walking Dead from the beginning, and then Corona thing happened. So was watching this at the same time, and when checking news that it was Corona, so it really matched very well. But yeah, watching TV series, movies, I really miss reading. So I guess, and our bookstores are still open, so maybe I go grab a book. I actually just got a book, Folk Metal Big Five, because
I've seen the book. It's in Finnish, right?
Yeah, I think they're now planning to translate it in English, and so on. But I just got it, so I think I'm gonna read that at some point, because I don't know. I know the story of Ensiferum. I was there. We did like 7-hour interview, and I was very drunk in the end. But I'm really curious about to read the rest of the bands, even though we know each other at small circles for folk metal scene. It's gonna be interesting to read.
Yeah, the bands on the book that I know is obviously Ensiferum, Fintroll, Corpaclani. Who else is on the list? I'm sure I'm missing a bunch. Do you know who the other bands are? Is Moonsorrow there as well or no?
Yeah, I think so. Turisas.
Yeah, Turisas, yeah. Because that's the cover, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, Matthias is he's the most prettiest of us.
Oh, so he won the beauty contest, so he got to be on the cover. Yeah. Smart move.
The rest of us are like, hairy, grumpy old man.
Yeah, I also started watching a lot more Netflix, but I believe you stopped on your The Walking Dead. You stopped on season 9, right?
Yeah, I don't think we even have the season 10 here. But yeah, season 9, that was such a disappointment.
I just finished season 10, so I don't want to spoil it for you.
Don't spoil too much. I'm gonna watch it when I can.
I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I like a season when it finishes with a really good cliffhanger. Absolutely. That you're like, I can't wait for. And this one to me was kind of like, it's kind of like, yeah. Seriously, like this is how you finish off the season. Like you don't have me really excited for what's going to come next. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, the show, since Rick left, it's really gone like downhill. It's not what it used to be.
Yeah, it's actually, the way I see it, it was kind of going down a bit, but then Negan happened. So a bit spoilers here if somebody hasn't watched. And yeah, Negan, woo, fantastic character.
Oh, he is amazing. And in season 10, he has a huge role.
But even him on the season 9 felt like he was castrated. So
yeah, I agree with you.
I really don't know what happened, and I felt genuinely sorry. It's such a great series, built so well, and yeah, and then season 7 it still skyrockets, and season 8 still going strong, and then crashing so badly. I felt bad.
I agree with you. I think in season 10 you'll see a return of the old Negan. So
good.
He definitely is one of the highlights of season 10. He re-energizes the season. He almost finds his old self in season 10. But overall, I just felt like that there's some characters and some stories that are just floating. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So the sooner the show moves away from them and concentrates on other characters, the better you're off,
Yeah, so then there's more time for more interesting characters and events.
Because how can I put it to you? It's just they're just not exciting anymore. They ran its course. They've done everything they could have. Like Rick, like if you kept Rick there, now Rick was becoming like a husband, and like that's not who Rick was. Rick was a badass guy that killed everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that sometimes they run out of ideas, or they run out of things to do with the characters, and that kind of ruins the shows a little bit. But speaking of shows, have you watched Tiger King?
No, I haven't. It's still waiting.
You got to watch Tiger King. It's one of those I mean, if there's one good thing that this whole somebody said I stopped watching The Walking Dead after season 5. Yeah, that's perhaps after when it started to go downhill.
That was pretty much when it started to go down. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment as well. Season 10, like I said, there's a little bit of a comeback because Negan kind of comes back a little bit, but some of the other characters, I almost wish they started killing them off and just kind of almost rebuild the show with around Negan almost. I wish they would do that.
Yeah, like a spin-off, because there is this Fear the Walking Dead, which I actually started now while waiting for Walking Dead season 10.
Yeah. The Fear of the Walking Dead. I've only watched 2 seasons.
Okay. Yeah, I started that. I think I'm now on season 3, 4, something like that. It's okay.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. If you want to watch a zombie one, you have to watch the Korean one. It's called Kingdom.
Okay, I will.
It's basically somebody eats bat soup, and instead of coronavirus, they become zombies. I'm not even joking. It's not bat soup. It's actually human soup. They make soup. There was one guy I don't want to ruin too much, but there was a guy that was sick, and they made soup out of him. Well, somebody made soup with his body, and then the people who ate it turned into zombies. So it's a little bit of like the coronavirus thing, but with zombies. So that show is amazing.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, somebody said Chernobyl and Band of Brothers. Chernobyl is amazing, but it's more of a almost like a documentary. But that's an amazing one. Yeah, but Tiger King. Really Sami, you have to watch Tiger King. Come on,
I will.
It's glorious.
Okay, I will. I think when I'm binging a series, I like to focus on that. I don't like to binge like many shows at the same time.
I'm with you on that. I don't watch, like, for example, Westworld is playing right now. But
I'm waiting for that also.
Yeah, so the 3rd season right now is HBO is broadcasting the 3rd season right now. So I don't watch it until the show is completely finished.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can binge it.
Exactly.
On my terms.
I cannot watch one episode every week. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I have to wait until it's completely over, and then in one weekend I sit down and I watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess that's what happened to me on Walking Dead on the first time, because it was coming like every week, and then with all other life that you're going through, and you kind of forget the details, and if you have a little bit sloppy characters and the story, then it really loses the interest because you don't remember all the twists. And I guess it was around season 5 when this happened to me, like somebody wrote. But yeah, that's why I like. I learned my lesson. That's why I like to really binge it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I made a mistake. The reason when I realized that was with Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Game of Thrones, I think, was season 4, the one where they have the red wedding, where everybody dies at the wedding. Yeah. I can't remember what season that was, but we watched that season 1 episode every week, and I hated it. Yeah. At the end of it, I was like, never again. Because you almost forget what happened the episode before, so when the episode starts, you're like, oh, like I didn't remember them being here. Like, why is this happening now? So I was like, you know what? Never again. From now on, we'll wait until the show is completely finished. Then we'll start watching, and we'll just watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
Another one that we really love is The Last Kingdom. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but
no, I haven't. What is it about?
It's really interesting. It's about an English guy who's like a lord. He's a son of a lord or whatever, and his castle is raided by Vikings, and they kill his father, and they take him as a slave almost. So he's raised from the time he's little. I think he's like 8 or 9. He's raised by the Vikings, by the Viking family that killed his father. So he's raised as a Viking. So, and he becomes almost a brother to the guy's kids. He almost becomes like he's one of the family. So the interesting thing is that he grows up as a Viking. So to the Vikings, he's always going to be an Englishman, and to the Englishman, he's always going to be a Viking. So he's a man with no land. because one group of people see him as the enemy and the other group see him as the enemy. So it's basically his story, and then what he wants to do is he wants to conquer. Somebody just said something really funny. He wants to conquer Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm not sure if that's a really good show to binge watch.
Buffy, yeah, I think I've seen the pilot. This one, not really my cup of tea. Yes.
Yeah. So with this show, then what happens is basically the premises of the show is he wants to conquer back the kingdom or the land that used to be owned by his father, the English lord, if you will. So sometimes he has to help the Vikings, sometimes he has to help the Englishmen. So he kind of shifts between one and the other, depending on which one can help him get to the goal that he wants to get to. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So he's always divided because in his heart, he feels a loyalty to the Vikings who raised him. And he knows all the customs, and he wasn't raised as a Christian. He was raised as a Viking. But on the other hand, he also wants to get his father's lands back, so he has to work with the Englishmen because that's the only way he's going to get the land back. So
really divided.
It's if you like Vikings, if you like the show Vikings, this one is very similar to that.
Okay, I think I only watched a bit of the first episode and I didn't even finish that one.
You need to get on that. You need to get on that. Loved Game of Thrones, but the series ended very rushed. I agree. Do you agree?
What? Sorry.
Game of Thrones, the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that because I read the books, and that's actually something many of my friends said about Walking Dead, that one should read them, the comics, because they're much better. But yeah, the last season of Game of Thrones, unfortunately, that was a quite big disappointment.
Yeah, I think they ran out of money, or out of ideas, or either money or ideas, because it felt really rushed. Like, to me, Sansa Stark had the ability, I think it was Sansa, whatever, the one that could change her face and become different people and whatever. Arya. So you have her with the ability of change, and she doesn't use that skill at all. Like I thought she was going to pretend to be one of the dead kings and walk up with a dead king and then stab him in the neck or something. I don't know. Like, hashtag free Salo. Yes, hashtag free Salo.
Hey, someone asked, what do I think of Lost Horizon? Fucking awesome.
Lost Horizon? Where's that one?
A band. I assumed they were talking about the band. I'm sorry, my chat is like here, and if I'm
yeah.
Pedro's beautiful face, I cannot read the chat.
Yeah,
I was counting that Mikael would be here, so I can actually read the chat at the same time when you guys are talking.
Yeah, that's true. And Salo, I think I don't know if he's still on the chat or not. I think he's upset with us. It has to be something with his audio, because the two of us are talking and the audio is fine.
Yeah. I'm really sorry. I'm not a really technical person. Can't really help.
Yeah, neither am I. I mean, I'm technical enough to find out when it's time to get rid of Salo, and this was the time to get rid of Salo.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
So,
so are you a fan of Lost
to make
Horizon?
Decisions?
Yeah, well,
Sorry?
It's an executive decision. I had to make an executive decision.
Yeah.
So you're a fan of Lost Horizon?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
What bands do you listen to? Because being a musician, are you a picky music consumer? Like, are you really picky about certain details, or
I'm lazy. I'm lazy music consumer. Nowadays, I don't really search music anymore. If someone recommends me something, I will check it out, but that's pretty much it. I have some friends who are always like checking. They've been like that since they were teenagers, always searching for new bands. And I don't know, nowadays I'm quite lazy with this one, because there's already so much good music, and I feel like I don't have enough time to listen to that music. So it would be to search even more stuff that I don't have time to listen. Especially when I'm in the middle of a process of a new album or whatever. I always listen to demos and then like the raw mixes or rehearsal room live demos or whatever. And when the mixes are done, then I'm listening to mixes, and so it's. I've been listening a lot of my own stuff because there was the Ensiferum process of the new album. So for that, I listened to a lot of the demos and came up with ideas. And now with the EP, I was listening to a lot of the raw ideas I had for those. You know, when I'm walking, I had my headphones on all the time, pretty much. And now I received some raw mixes. So I'm now listening what could be done better. So I'm actually quite selfish and lazy. Shame on me.
What about you when you go on tour? So like when the tour gets announced, Ensiferum is going on tour, headliners with let's say 2 bands on the bill, and it's 2 bands that you haven't heard before. Do you take some time to listen to those bands before you hit the road with them, or are you going to listen to them when they're performing before you guys go on stage anyway? So you don't really need to listen to it before.
No, I usually check out the bands. I might not listen to all their albums, but I check out like what kind of stuff they're doing, but that's true. During the tour, you usually learn each other's set list quite well. Every band.
Yeah, you have to listen to it non-stop for like a month.
Yeah, which is nice if you're touring with great bands. It's actually very nice.
Yeah, but if the band is not so good, then it's a different story altogether. Then it's a good time to stay in the bus during the first couple of sets. You just stay on the bus. You just keep yourself occupied. Salo is drinking, I think. Yeah, he's drinking.
Oh, good for him.
I just said on the stream that what I'll do is I'll do another live stream just with Salo.
Yeah, you should.
Because to me, what I think the problem is the software has a hard time with the 3 audio feeds combining in.
Yeah.
Because if there's only 2 audio feeds, it's fine. But the moment that you have a third one coming in, Skype has a problem with how the audio is. So the audio starts to bounce off of each other. It's the only explanation that I have. It's a Skype glitch when there's 3 of them together. I think it's okay if we're doing, let's say if we were recording this to post later, would have been fine because our audio was fine.
Exactly.
But if you're live streaming, then there's an issue with how the 3 audio lines all feed in together. That's
exactly.
That's the only logical conclusion I can come up with. You know, so definitely I'll be doing a live stream just with Salo, just to shoot the shit with Salo during the week. We don't even need to do it on a weekend because this guy is up until like 5 o'clock in the morning.
What's the biggest? Yeah, I like longer. But today is just water.
Oh, and so Laureline is asking you, what are your top 5 bands that you hate, but everyone else loves?
That I hate. I really have time to hate any bands. There are bigger issues in the world.
Ooh, nice answer.
If I don't like something, then I just don't listen to it. Nah, sorry, Laureline.
And is there a genre within metal that you're not a big fan of?
Not a big fan of. It's not that much about genre itself. I mean, good music is good music. I like maybe I was not ever into new metal, for example, but there were good songs also in that genre, like good catchy choruses and so on. So it would be stupid to say I don't like this genre at all.
Yeah. I think everybody has their favorites, but that doesn't mean that the whole genre should be like a complete write-off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that way about, for example, prog metal. We had this conversation last week with Asim. I'm not a huge prog guy, but having said that, there's some bands that I like, and there's definitely some bands more than others that I really enjoy within the genre. So while it may not be my favorite genre, it's definitely a genre that there are some gems that I really enjoy. It's just not like, for example, when I think of thrash metal, it's going to be very hard for you to be a thrash metal band that I don't like. Because I just really like that genre. So almost any band that plays thrash metal, I like that band. Yeah. It's just a genre that I really like.
Yeah, it fits you.
Yeah, so with prog, I'm a little bit more picky. I'm a little bit more careful with what I listen to, with what I like, what I don't like, that kind of stuff.
I guess it's also when you become older, you realize you only have certain amount of time, so you wanna use that time for listening to good music and not shitty.
Yeah. I mean, why waste time with bad stuff? Just concentrate on the good stuff.
Exactly. We only have this one life, so let's make most out of it.
New metal is NU metal, not new metal as NEW metal. And new metal, for those that don't know, is like bands like Korn, Limp Bizkit. I think Papa Roach would fall under that as well. Even Slipknot was considered new metal at the time that they came out. So that's all like I mean, there's more bands that fall into that new metal category, but those are just some that come to mind.
And I guess those are. I'm not. Again, this is something I'm not very familiar with, but I guess those are like the cream of this genre. But when it was like blooming, I guess that was kind of the problem. There was so many that were not as good as their
No, and there was, at the time of new metal, was even a time where other bands that were not new metal kind of changed their sound and became a little bit more new metal around that time because it was so popular. So it was a way for them to create music that they know they were going to sell and that they were going to have an audience for.
Yeah.
So somebody just said Sami for president. I don't know. Do you guys have a president in Finland, or
we have a president?
Okay, so the next one should be you, according to the guys on the stream.
Well, the president actually don't have that much power in Finland.
Okay, so then we don't want you as the president. Then basically they're just saying for you to be the figurehead.
Yeah, so maybe some kind of dictator will be better.
Semi for a dictator, never mind president. Let's just move on to the next stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just move it on to dictator, and then you can hire Salo as your what do you call it? As the guy who does the announcements.
What is it called?
Like your press.
He's
gonna
come there with massive thing. Hear ye.
Yeah.
And he's gonna
exactly. That's exactly a perfect role for Salo.
Exactly.
Perfect.
My minister of power metal, because in my regime there's gonna be a minister of power metal.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be in charge of all things power.
Yeah.
Salo is asking you a question, by the way. I think you have to answer him, right? Like he's asking you, what's your favorite Insiferum Metal de Facto songs?
From both bands? Oi.
By the way, Salo said that he got into Insiferum with From Afar. That's the song that got him into Insiferum.
I'm sorry for that.
Oh God, that's funny. No, by the way, Ginger is not new metal. Ginger would fall under more like
it's very progressive.
Progressive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a question about what Salo stuff I like. He's this rocking band called Thyro is really good. Check it out. My favorite Ensiferum song. Actually, it's on the new album that I really like, but I can't tell you yet the name of it because the track list is not published yet.
Yeah, it's a secret.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's a secret.
Sorry.
What about from Metal de Facto? What's your favorite song on the album?
On the album? Really depends. Well, at the moment, because everything is so gloomy and every time you turn your TV on or read the news, everything is just Corona this or Corona that, and economics is in a crisis and whatever. I would say Bacchanalia, because that brings me in a good mood.
Puts you in a party mood.
Yeah, exactly. I think we need that also. We
definitely need that as the world progresses. By the way, I've been saving a couple of questions about the new Insiferum album. I have the album already. I got the album a month ago from the label. But I'm not going to say anything about the album because nothing is really public. Not the name of the album.
You haven't said anything to me either. I mean,
no.
I'm wrote me on one chat like, I got it, and I was like, okay. I'm keeping something like.
I'm keeping myself very. I'm keeping myself very quiet. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm not going to give any spoilers to anybody. But so, like I said, oh crap! I shook the whole thing. Like I said, I have the album. I know what's going on as far as the record is concerned. So I'm trying to think, how can I ask you questions without putting you on the spot where you have to say stuff that you can't say. So the best question that I have for you perhaps is, because of everything that's happening in the world, are you guys looking at a release date A and a release date B, depending on how this whole Corona thing plays out? Or are you guys going to be set with one release date and that's the date the album is going to come out?
It's going to come out on the day that was set.
Okay. That's good news that's good news for everybody.
Yeah, it would be silly to postpone it. The way I see it, because it's already recorded, it's fixed, it's perfect, it's ready to be sent out to the world and to please people's ears. So I think it's actually quite a good time to put it out, because at the moment so many bands are also working with the new material. So it's a good thing, but what it means that at some point, I guess later this year, there's going to be a massive release orgy. Like
it's going to be a bacchanalian next year with all that.
Yeah, it's going to be like 100 releases every week or something, and there's nothing wrong. But then the risk of being kind of unnoticed when there's too many bands releasing stuff. I guess this way we get people's attention, because I doubt that this week when it's coming out that there's going to be that many releases.
I agree with you. I think the week that you guys have set up for the release date, I think you guys are going to have the spotlight for sure. Because from everything that's hit my inbox now, there's going to be quite a bit of releases up until the end of May. But then as beyond May, this starts to kind of like temper off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bands are now, you see some bands announcing now they're canceling their releases, like Lamb of God canceled their release. Other bands are pushing their releases to like September, October. Draconian just announced that their new album is coming out in October. So you see a lot of bands pushing even closer to like fall, winter. And I think you're right. I think the bands that are going to do that and push the records, it may sound good now, but then everybody's going to release the records at the same time. It's going to be like this overflow of new albums coming out every single week. And that's not good for the bands either.
No, not good for anyone. And that's actually going to be very interesting to see if and when like bands start touring again. It's going to be so much like tours going on, because everybody wants and everybody needs to tour. But what I guess will happen, you're going to have like these festival kind of tours where you have 7-8 bands and like bigger venues. I guess that's going to happen in the sense that every band is having like a 2-3 band package and going to the same cities, and everybody's suffering. I guess that's what's going to happen. You're going to have like indoor festivals.
You're bringing up I didn't think about that. So I think that's a brilliant idea. Do you really think that's what's going to happen? Like instead of Ensiferum, let's say like you guys did with Ensiferum, Kalma, and who was on that bill? Animus was on that bill. Like so that tour, those kind of tours will disappear, and it will be like a larger tour with 6 bands, for example. You play in a much bigger venue. Therefore, almost like you said, almost like a traveling festival.
That's what I think is the smartest thing. But I'm just a bass player. I don't work in the business itself. I don't organize this kind of stuff. But just like if you think it rationally, of course.
Honestly, I think that's a genius idea. I honestly think that's the best approach, because the market is going to be over flooded with concerts.
Yeah.
Right. And then what's going to happen? Some bands are not going to get anybody coming to their shows, because in 1 week you're going to have multiple shows in that same week. Because once everything goes back to normal, everybody's going to want to get out there, like you said. Everybody's got albums to promote. You want to get back on the road, that kind of stuff. I think that's a genius idea to do more like of a touring festival.
Yeah, I'm sure that's kind of like in North America. You have like Summer Slaughter tour, stuff like this. And we have this Headbangers Ball tour in Europe. I think it might be even like bigger. Like you have like maybe in 10 bands. I don't know. Let's see. It's gonna be
you know what would be really fun. And I'm gonna throw this one out there. I don't even want any money whatsoever if this happens. But considering that there's a book out there for the best folk metal bands, why not do a big 6 or a big 5 of folk metal bands and do a tour like that? You know, like they had the big 4 of thrash, you could do like a big 5 or a big 6 of folk. And all of you guys going on the road together, Corpiclani and Sephirim, Fintroll, Teresa's, Moon Sorrow, everybody together. How crazy would that be?
This was happening like 10 years ago. There was this thing called Pagan Fest and Hydrogen Fest that was going on in Europe and North America. And I guess what happened, they kind of overdid it because they started doing like twice a year. And the genre isn't that big. You don't have like 20 bands that can pull like a good crowd. And yeah, there's been a lot of questions about doing the big 5 thing during all these years. I think it's a very valid option to do it.
Yeah, I think it would be
I know
really
like Fintroll are also, they're coming up with new album also, so let's see.
Yeah, I talked to, I haven't posted yet on the channel, but I talked to Matthias. I was talking, I did an interview with him. I haven't posted yet on the channel, but we were talking actually about End Oceans because they have an album. They have an album coming out. But I asked him about Fintroll, and I asked him about the release date, if it's still going to stay the same as they were planning before, and he said yes, the album is still going to stay with the same release date. They're just a little bit bummed out because, you know, with the festivals being canceled and the shows being canceled, you know, he's a little bummed out about that. But he said, no, we're still gonna. It makes no sense on holding it back. We're just gonna release as we were gonna release it, regardless. You know.
Absolutely, that's good. Yeah, we actually, when Ensiferum finished recording, I think it was like Friday or like this, and next Monday, Fintroll started recording their album early this year. So we're really like back to back with them.
Yeah, somebody just said that some of the sets would have to be really short because Moon Sorrow probably could only play one song.
That is so true. But also would be cool. This is again just me speaking. But I like the idea that it would be like a strong package that all the bands can be seen as a headliner. So it's not like the same running order every evening. So you can change it. And people know it, that it's going to change, and everybody has pretty much the same time to play. So then, like,
I like that idea. Man, you never mind playing bass. You should start like doing some promotions and get some tours going and stuff like that. You have a great business mind. I think that's a lovely idea. Just keep the bands rotate. Sometimes in North America they do some co-headlining tours, and the two headlining bands they rotate.
Co-headlining, but yeah, we did that also with on one North America thing. We did it with Fintroll like many years ago. We were switching slots, and that was actually very nice because it's not very nice always to play after Fintroll because they really wear out your audience with their humpa metal. And but yeah, the idea of having like, let's say 4 or 5 bands like this, like, I don't know how do you call that, but
that would be really nice.
Possible. No, or could there be some ego problems? I doubt, depending on the bands and genres.
I think depends on the bands. If you're talking about the ones that we were talking about, I think you guys are all know each other well enough that I don't see egos being an issue at all.
Yeah. If we talk like folk metal tour, then that would not be an issue. But I'm talking like on general level, if you would have this happening with many bands.
Some bands probably it would be an issue, but I don't see an issue for those specific bands. I don't see that being an issue. But I see what you're saying. It would be interesting. But now, would you have the sets being different, or each band would play the same set, like the same length of time, each band, just alternating who plays first and who plays last?
That's what I would do. Then there's no like problem, because you always can play the same length of the set. Because that seems to be a problem for some bands, you know. Oh, they play 10 minutes longer than we do, and you know.
Yeah.
But this is just I don't know how this would work in real life, but it's always nice to play beautiful ideas. Like you said, it's a lovely idea. But
it is.
But business is not always lovely.
Very rarely it is lovely. And,
exactly.
And speaking of business, the last time you guys toured in North America was last November. You guys were here with Kalma. Looking back, how was? Well, that was the last time you guys were on the road.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Seems like a lifetime ago.
Exactly. This expression is like, you don't miss things before you lose them, or you don't appreciate them before you lose them. And of course, when you finish a tour, it's like, okay, fantastic tour, another one done, but there's new ones coming, and suddenly there's not. Always remember to appreciate the good things in life.
Yeah,
the good moments.
The good moments. How was that tour for you guys? Did you guys have fun?
Very fun. It was really cool. Very smooth tour. And that's what I like about touring. We're not 18 anymore. So it's nice that the bus and the mood, everything is smooth. I mean, there were some members had their party almost every night, and crew members, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the atmosphere is very relaxed, and the vibe is good. I sound very hippish at the moment, but I guess you understand what I mean.
Yeah. No, I saw you guys in Toronto. It was a blast to see you guys live. I mean, I think last year, I saw in Seferim last year 3 times. So I consider myself pretty lucky because I saw you guys in January when you guys were touring. Was with Septic Flesh. Yeah, with Septic Flesh in January. Then I saw you guys in Kotka in August.
Oh yeah.
And then I saw you guys. I saw you guys back again in November. So
God damn it.
That was a pretty good. 2019 was pretty good. It was a pretty good year.
It was a good year. This is gonna be more interesting. Let's hope it's gonna be good in some other ways.
Yeah, you always have to look at the silver lining and look at the positive things. I always go every time that I talk about in Seferim to anybody, I always go back to the first time. You want to say something?
I just want to say fast one thing. You remember we went to Beaver Bar in Helsinki?
Yes.
Yeah. Like bars are closed now. What they did in Beaver Bar, they started a radio channel there. And
really?
And where I was going, like there are people now, part of this radio, do it daily, who were in radio like let's say 15 years ago. So without this Corona thing, because of it, people needed to be more creative. They had to come up with ideas. And come on, if I had time to make an EP, which I probably wouldn't have had time to do without it. So also when we have to go out of our kind of comfort zone, our like day-to-day routines, it also pushes us to be creative. So you just mentioned silver lining, and that's what I mean. Like we can choose to really be very gloomy. Of course, it's a serious thing. Don't get me wrong, but we can also choose to try to find other ways to.
Yeah, you have to
stay
creative.
Yeah,
exactly. Instead of concentrating on the negatives, I think you have to concentrate on the positives.
Yeah.
And if you concentrate on the positives, then the negatives will become smaller and smaller, and it won't affect as much your day-to-day life.
Exactly.
They're still there, but you're just not focusing on them. You're putting your energy towards something else.
Absolutely, exactly. You put your energy to something that you can actually affect.
I think that's I think that's key. Honestly, Beaver Bar is amazing, man. I went to the one in Helsinki, and we went to the one in Tampere.
Yeah, in Tampere. Yeah, now you have good memory.
I absolutely love that bar. Like absolutely, like wow, man, loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's so. The atmosphere is great. The people there are great. And you never know who you're going to find when you walk in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like a living room.
Yeah. Somebody just asked if you're planning on doing an acoustic album.
With the bands, I assume.
Yeah.
Well, with Ensiverum, we've been talking about it for a decade or something like that. And then we made the acoustic tour, and it worked very well. So yes, the acoustic album is definitely coming at some point. With De Facto. At some point, I dare to say, Mikael might disagree with me here now. Probably not. Let's see. I'm waiting for messages here. But I think at some point we could do also acoustic thing with De Facto, because we have the spin-off Trio De Facto playing acoustic heavy metal covers, and it works very well. So maybe we can make it even better and have the whole band there and create new songs or make like acoustic versions. Like I said, I really like acoustic versions.
Me too. I the first time that I saw Insiferum, I saw you guys play a full acoustic set. I saw you guys in Portugal. I saw you guys in Portugal at the what's the festival? Vagos Metal Fest.
Vagos.
And they had, the airline had lost all of your gear.
Yeah.
So you guys were forced to do a full-on acoustic set, and man.
Well, we had the possibility. I'm happy for that because we didn't have to cancel because the promoter was so nice that he provided us acoustic instruments and tons of alcohol.
Yeah, I was gonna say because where you guys were playing, there was a table. The table was between you and Petri. There was a table, and it had Baileys on it. So it was not just the acoustic instruments. They also provided with Baileys and other beverages.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they were like, "We're sorry, guys," even though it wasn't their fault. But they were like trying to make us feel good, and so that we can make a nice show. But of course, come on. Acoustic instruments.
It was amazing, though.
And a lot of alcohol. What could go wrong?
That performance will always be one of my favorite all-time Insiferum performances live, because for me, to see you guys perform for the first time, I was really excited. Like, we went on that night because you guys were one of the bands on that night, and I really wanted to see you guys live for the first time. So
thank you for that.
We traveled for 2 hours by car to go there to see you guys play. So when I saw them bringing the acoustic stuff on, I'm like, what's happening here? Like, this is really strange. And then the word kind of got out that there had been an issue with the airlines and whatever. And everybody was really excited because it's not something you get to see every day at a festival, a band playing a full-on acoustic set. And I wanted to, the energy of the crowd, it was absolutely insane. It was something like you had to be there to really experience the crowd surfing and the mosh pit. Like, it was not like people were just standing around looking at you guys playing. People were really hyped.
Yeah, they were really supportive because I'm sure we didn't sound very good because we didn't practice. We were not prepared to anything like this. Turning your songs into acoustic versions is not just like a switch. You really... And it's a totally different instrument, especially for the guitar players. It's a totally different thing. But this is something that I really like. And that's kind of part of the rock and roll for me, that no matter what happens on stage, the show must go on, Like, I remember, I think it was From Afar album. That was the first time we had like backing tracks because we had the orchestrations that you cannot play that with keyboards. And I think it was the first song we had like pyros and everything. It was the album release show pretty much. And we had the bombs and pyros and the beginning of From Afar song. And then we had a bomb. But we also, it was so powerful, our backing track machine was busted. Because there was so much this
vibration, I guess.
Vibration, yeah. So the machine broke. But we didn't quit. We played the whole set without the backing tracks. And same thing here. I really like that. Okay, we don't have this and that. It actually happened in China once. I don't know if I told you the story. It was actually really cool.
No, I didn't even know you guys played in... You guys didn't have any bat soup, did you?
No. There was actually one restaurant they had because I don't know how they translate their menus, but there was like a surprise meat. Mystery meat. And yeah, we didn't take that. But anyway, one show where we played, it was awesome, like very packed show, a few hundred people. And we start playing, and suddenly all the PA goes down. I'm like, what happened here? And you could just hear drums. And some couple of seconds later, okay, everything's back on. Okay, we start the song again. And it happened a few times. And then we're like, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, then we decide, okay, we don't want to break another backing track machine. So let's just come up with a set list that we can play with just the band. Then we had a keyboard player at that time. And then we just made up the set list like this. We had so many totally different planned and rehearsed, but then we changed the set list. And what had happened was somebody had the PA system on a same power outlet as the water boiler. So every time somebody would the kettle on and to boil the water, the PA went down. We heard this afterwards. That was the reason. But this kind of attitude, I really like it. That you can adjust to the situations. Yeah. But on the other hand, it's not so black and white, because I had a privilege to go see Lindemann. They played in Helsinki, and it was like a machine. The show, it was like feel perfection. I haven't seen Rammstein ever, but I guess it's on the same level. And this kind of stuff is so enjoyable to see, even if you're not even in the music that much. But the show is so precise. Everything works like a Swiss clock. But of course, stuff like that is very fragile. If something breaks down, then everything breaks down. And there's not much room for jamming or improvisation anymore. But as a show, that kind of stuff is very enjoyable. I don't know, as a musician, I guess the guys also can get kicks out of it. Come on, if you play for sold out ice hall, I guess it's a nice feeling also. But yeah, I guess it's a different kind of thing than if you're rocking and, you know, adjusting your set list and making songs longer and jamming and so on. But if you have something that works perfectly, like every second is so it's not black and white. Clockwork, thank you. That was the word I was trying to find for the last 1 minute here.
Yeah, the two things that I take away from your... by the way, somebody's saying that we want a new date for the interview with Mikael Salo. Yeah, as soon as we're done today, I'll talk to Salo and we'll work out the details of that. I think the lesson that we learned today is that if we're going to do this live stream, it has to be just two people, not three or more.
It needs to be like basketball, one-on-one. No, no three-way. No three-way.
No, the whole three-way just shitted on our faces. The audio just, for some reason, we couldn't get the audio sorted out. But I was going to say, the things that I take away from that performance in Portugal, forever, doesn't matter, for as long as I live, there's two things that I'll always remember. One was Petri saying, we're going to be doing a cover of Judas Priest, and it's not Painkiller, and I thought that was hilarious. The way he said it, he sounded so serious, but at the same time joking. It just, that line will always stay with me. And the other thing was you jumping off stage to go high five people in the front row, and then the security guard giving you a hard time to go back in because he thought you were just one of the crowd surfers. And he's like, no, I gotta get back on stage. And the guys on stage, they just kept pushing the song, like waiting for you to come back and join before the song could continue. I thought that was hilarious. Like, I had never seen anything like that before. So I'll walk away from that show with so many fond memories. It was such a great evening. It was such a blast.
Likewise.
It's like you guys were the absolute best band of the day, in my opinion. It was all the stars were aligned. It was starting to get dark. You know what I mean? The whole acoustic thing, everything was just perfect in order for that show to be as good as it was.
Yes, it was very unique moment.
No, definitely, it was super unique. All right, Sami, do we? I want to thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.
And I want to apologize. For all the technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mikael, but yeah, you're gonna have
I'll do this.
Yourself.
I'll do this with Salo. I gotta talk to him today and figure out a date that works for him, and we'll do this maybe in the middle of the week on a Wednesday or something like that. I'll do a live stream with just me and Salo. If I was going to do a live stream next week with two people, but now I have to talk to them and kind of revise that idea, because the issue really, I think it's too many. Skype cannot handle the three audio feeds coming in, so one echoes over the other two. That's the only explanation that I have.
Exactly. Maybe you can do so that you split at a halfway chat. First the other one, and then high five, and the next one.
Actually, if Salo is around, I'll bring him in. Where's Salo? Salo, are you there?
Mikael, are you there?
Salo.
Earth calling Salo. Nope.
No, I don't think he's there. He gave up on us.
Damn.
We
didn't give up on you. We still love you, Mikael.
Yeah. We have lots of love for you. Not for your audio system, but for you personally. So anyway, Sami, thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited about your solo work coming out.
Thank you.
Salo is here. Yes. Okay. So what we'll do is, so Salo, I'm going to bring you on as I say goodbye to Sami here. I'll bring you on, and then we can chat for a little bit.
Fantastic.
So I think that's good.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And we'll be talking more because I'm really hoping you release a lyric video or something for your solo project so that we can do that on the channel and check it out.
Me too. Well, the thing is that if I don't get enough funds for that, then I'm going to do it by myself. And it's going to look really crappy.
All right. Well, I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can put some pesos together for a lyric video. And
let's see.
And let's
figure out something.
At the end of the day, the video is less important as the music. So
exactly, there needs to be some eye candy.
Exactly.
Well, I have the cats, so maybe I use them.
Exactly. So you can use them. Just a video of the cats walking around.
Yeah, come on. You wouldn't watch this and listen to industrial metal.
Everybody loves cats. Everybody loves cats. All right, Sami, thank you very much for your time. I'm gonna close this stream and I'm gonna bring Salo back for me and him to chat for a little bit.
Good. Bye-bye.
How many cats do you have?
3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, man. Take care.
Likewise. All the best, Pedro. See you next time.
All the best.